Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. All right, we do some japa here together. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gora Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gora Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gora Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gora, Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gora, Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gora, Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gora, Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gora, Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gora, Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gaura Bhaktavinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Hare Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gora Bhaktivinoda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gora Bhaktivinoda.
Yeah, this is Lord Chaitanya's, Murari Gupta's glorification of Lord Chaitanya, and then I guess he's hearing the pastimes from this Brahmin. He's in Vrindavan, so this Brahmin's reminding him of his previous pastimes. Jai Srila Prabhupada. This is the rod for churning yogurt that Yashamati Nandana Bhagavan Hari held while trying to dance for the pleasure of his mother. This is the rod for churning yogurt that Yashomati Nandana Bhagavan Hari held while trying to dance for the pleasure of his mother. Laughing to see her face, Yashoda took Krishna to her breast, and filled with love, made him drink her milk. Laughing to see his face, Yashoda took Krishna to her breast, and filled with love, made him drink her milk. Then seeing the milk boiling over on the fire, that chaste lady quickly put him down, and went to take the boiling milk off the stove. Then she returned to the butter churner. Meanwhile, Krishna became angry, seeing the pot of butter, and broke it with a piece of stone. Entering the house, he stood up upon the wooden grinding mortar while eating the fresh butter and laughing. By the marks of Krishna's activities, Yashoda guessed what her son had done, and hearing his prattling and laughter, she caught him and bound his belly with the ropes in that very spot. For this reason, the giver of prem is now known by the name of Damodar. By the marks of Krishna's activities, Yashoda guessed what her son had done, and hearing his prattling and laughter, she caught him and bound his belly with ropes, Dam, in this very spot. For this reason, the giver of prem is now known by the name Damodar. Then at this place, that Bhagavan Damodar broke the twin Arjun trees. Over here, the Lord offered grains to a lady peddler in exchange for some fruits and ate them, even though he himself is the ultimate bestower of all fruits. Then at this place, Bhagavan Damodar broke the twin Arjun trees. Over here, the Lord offered grains to a lady peddler in exchange for some fruits and ate them, even though he himself is the ultimate bestower of all fruits. On the southern side of this place is Gokul, known by those in knowledge as Goloka. In this very place, Sri Hari performed his pastimes in the company of his mother. On the southern side of this place is Gokul, known by those in knowledge as Goloka. In this very place, Sri Hari performed his childhood pastimes in the company of his mother. O controller of all controllers, here you may see Gopishwar Dev. And here is Sapta Samudra Kund, which purifies all the worlds. O controller of all controllers, here you may see Gopishwar Dev, and here is Sapta Samudra Kund, which purifies all the worlds. In the town to the west of this place stands the home of the Gopa named Yana, husband of Srimati Radharani. Well, Yana, what's his name? Whatever his name is, it's just not spelled right. Husband of Srimati Radharani, which is an abode filled with ras. To the south, the cowherd named Nanda also dwelt. In the town to the west of this place stands the home of the Gopa named Abhimanyu or something, a husband of Srimati Radharani, which is the abode filled with ras. To the south, the cowherd named Nanda also dwelt. In the midst of this town is the house of Upananda, where Krishna took much pleasure. In the midst of this town is the house of Upananda, where Krishna took much pleasure. On the western side of the town is the forest where Ravana performed austerities. In the midst of this town is the house of Upananda, where Krishna took much pleasure. In the western side of the town is the forest where Ravana performed austerities. O Krishna, to the south of this spot lies the ashram of Durvasa Muni. Nearby, O Prabhu, are the forests of Lovana and Bilvavana. Here also you may see the spot where Nanda Maharaj's son Krishna happily played many games. Krishna awarded to Nanda the very wonderful ras of his boyhood pastimes. Here also you may see the spot where Nanda Maharaj's son Krishna happily played many games. Krishna awarded to Nanda the very wonderful ras of his boyhood pastimes. Observing the approach of some storm clouds, King Nanda said to a nice gopi, "Quickly take baby Krishna to the queen of my home." Observing the approach of some storm clouds, King Nanda said to a nice gopi, "Quickly take baby Krishna to the queen of my home." That lady placed him on her lap, and feeling overwhelmed with joy, kissed him all over. Being warmly embraced by him, she became amazed and utterly captivated by that child. That lady placed him on her lap, and feeling overwhelmed with joy, kissed him all over. Being warmly embraced by him, she became amazed and utterly captivated by that child. After hearing about the shining ras of Sri Krishna's pastimes, and transcendental glories, Gaura Krishna gave a heartfelt, loving embrace to Krishna Das. After hearing about the shining ras of Sri Krishna's shining pastimes and transcendental glories, Gaura Krishna gave a heartfelt, loving embrace to Krishna Das. After hearing about the shining ras of Sri Krishna's childhood pastimes and transcendental glories, Gaura Krishna gave a heartfelt, loving embrace to Krishna Das. Krishna Das continued, "Hey Gaura Govinda, hey Gaura Govinda, just see." Krishna Das continued, "Hey Gaura Govinda, just see. Here Gopal enacted the childhood pastimes." Krishna Das continued. Here, Gaur Govinda. Here, hey, Gaur Govinda. Hey, Gaur Govinda. Just see. Gopal enacted sublime pastimes. Gopal enacted sublime pastimes of tending the cows. Gopal enacted the sublime pastimes of tending the cows. And here is the Kunj dug by Sri Hari. In this place, the husband of Upananda was surrounded by other cowherds as he addressed Nanda in order to determine the proper course of action for the welfare of baby Krishna. In this place, the handsome Upananda was surrounded by the other cowherds as he addressed Nanda in order to determine the proper course of action for the welfare of baby Krishna. Together with the cowherd men, their wives and children and cows. Together with the cowherd men, their wives, children, and cows, Nanda Maharaj mounted a cart and traveled to the forest of Bhadraka in Banira. There they dwelt for 2 months. Together with the cowherd men, their wives, children, and cows, Nanda Maharaj mounted a cart and traveled to the forests of Bhadraka and Banira, where they dwelt for 2 months. Thus ends the 6th sarga entitled Gauranga Sees Mahavan in Other Forests, in the 4th parikrama of the great poem Sri Chaitanya Charita. Behold this spot where the forefathers and other men had created a fort out of the carts. Surrounded by the carts, Ram and Krishna played but with their cows and cowherds. Behold this spot where the fathers and other men had created a fort out of the carts. Surrounded by the carts, Ram and Krishna played with the cows and cowherds. O golden moon, here at the root of the Kapitra tree, Sri Janardhan slew Vatasura, the demon who took the form of a calf, as well as Bakasura, the demon who took the form of a crane. O golden moon, here at the root of the Kapita tree, Sri Janardhan slew Vatasura, the demon who took the form of a calf, as well as Bakasura, the demon who took the form of a crane. In this place, Ram and Janardhan, the protectors of the cosmic manifestation. In this place, Ram and Janardhan, the protectors of the cosmic manifestation, equipped with flames, sticks, and other cowherd paraphernalia, played with their boyfriends, imitating the activities of the throngs of monkeys and the resulting cries of the movements of the peacocks. In this place, Ram and Krishna, Ram and Janardhan, Ram and Janardhan, the protectors of the cosmic manifestation, equipped with flutes, sticks, and other cowherd paraphernalia, played with their boyfriends, imitating the activities of the throngs of monkeys and the resounding cries and movements of the peacocks. Hearing these descriptions, Gaurahari, the crest jewel among all Rasikas. Hearing these descriptions, Gaurahari, the crest jewel of all Rasikas, who had accepted the form of an exemplary devotee, became wholly saturated with Krishna Ras. In his former Leela, Gaurachandra Prabhu was imbued with the Ras of Visaya Tattva, or the Absolute Truth, as the object of transcendental love. Whereas in his present Leela, he is imbued with the Rasa of Ashraya Tattva, or the Absolute Truth, as the subject of that love. Hearing these descriptions, Gaurahari, the crest jewel among all Rasiks, who had accepted the form of an exemplary devotee, became wholly saturated with Krishna Ras in his former Leela. Gaurachandra Prabhu was imbued with the Ras of Vishraya Tattva, or the Absolute Truth, as the object of love. In his former Leela, Gaurachandra Prabhu was imbued with the Ras of Vishaya Tattva, or the Absolute Truth, as the object of transcendental love. Whereas in his present Leela, he is imbued with the Rasa of Ashraya Tattva, or the Absolute Truth, as the subject of that love. Krishnadas continued, O Gauranga, behold the place where the immensely sinful demon Aga, the younger brother of Baka, assumed the form of a python and was slain by Sri Krishna. Krishnadas continued, O Gauranga, behold the place where the immensely sinful demon Aga, the younger brother of Baka, assumed the form of a python and was slain by Sri Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, This is Chapter 13, Stealing of the Boys and Calves by Brahma. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, 10th Canto, Sri Shukadev Goswami said, O best of devotees, most fortunate Parikshit, you have inquired very nicely, for although constantly hearing the pastimes of the Lord, you are perceiving his activities to be newer and newer. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, O best of devotees, most fortunate Parikshit, you have inquired very nicely, for although constantly hearing the pastimes of the Lord, you are perceiving his activities to be newer and newer. Paramahamsas, devotees who have accepted the essence of life, are attached to Krishna in the core of their hearts. And he is the aim of their lives. And he is the aim of their lives. Devotees who have accepted the essence of life are attached to Krishna. In the core of their hearts. and He is the aim of their lives. Okay. He is the aim of their lives. It is their nature to talk only of Krishna at every moment, as if such topics were newer and newer. It is their nature to talk only of Krishna at every moment, as if such topics were newer and newer. They are attached to such topics, just as materialists are attached to topics of women and sex. Or politics or something else. They are attached to such topics. O King, kindly hear me with great attention. O King, kindly hear me with great attention. Although the activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential, no ordinary man can be able to understand them. I shall speak about them to you, for spiritual masters explain to a submissive disciple even subject matters that are very confidential and difficult to understand. Then after saving the boys and the calves from the mouth of Aghasura, who was death personified, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, brought them all to the bank of the river and spoke the following words. Then after saving the boys and the calves from the mouth of Aghasura, who was death personified, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, brought them all to the bank of the river and spoke the following words. My dear friends, my dear friends, just see how this riverbank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. My dear friends, just see how this riverbank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. And just see how the blossoming lotuses are attracting the bees and the birds by their aroma. The humming and chirping of the bees and the birds is echoing throughout the beautiful trees in the forest. Alas, here the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered the best place for our sporting and pastimes. I think we should take our lunch here. I think we should take our lunch here, since we are already hungry. Because the time is very late, here the calves may drink water and go slowly here and there and eat the grass. I think we should take our lunch here, since we are already hungry. Because the time is very late, and here the calves may drink water and go slowly here and there and eat the grass. Accepting Lord Krishna's proposal, the cowherd boys allowed the calves to drink water from the river and then tied them to the trees where there was green tender grass. The boys opened their baskets of food and began eating with Krishna in great transcendental pleasure. The boys opened their baskets of food and began eating with Krishna in great transcendental pleasure. like the whirl of a lotus surrounded by its petals and leaves. Like a whirl of a lotus surrounded by its petals and leaves, Krishna sat in the center, encircled by the lines of his friends. Krishna sat in the center, encircled by the lines of his friends, who all looked very beautiful. Every one of them was trying to look forward towards Krishna. Every one of them was trying to look forward towards Krishna, thinking that Krishna might look towards him. In this way, they all enjoyed their lunch in the forest. Among the cowherd boys, some placed their lunch on flowers, some on leaves and fruits and bunches of leaves, some actually in their baskets, and some the bark of trees, and some on rocks. This is where the children imagined to be their plates as they ate their lunch. All right, so I'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita a little bit here. Chapter 1 and Chapter 3, the external reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here, you can read a little bit.
I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the potency of the shelter of his lotus feet, even a fool can collect the valuable jewels of conclusive truth from the mines of the revealed scriptures. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. I've given the purport of the third verse. Now, O devotees, please listen to the meaning of the fourth with full attention. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Lord Krishna, the son of the king of Raja, is the Supreme Lord. He eternally enjoys transcendental pastimes in his eternal abode, Goloka, which includes Vrajadam. Once in a day of Brahma, he descends to this world to manifest his transcendental pastime. We know that there are 4 ages, yugas, namely Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. These 4 together constitute one Divya Yuga. 71 Divya Yugas constitute one mini Atara. Man-avatara. There are 14 Man-avatara in one day of Brahma. The present Manu, who is the seventh, is called Vivashvata, the son of Vivashvan. 27 Divya Yugas, 27 times 4,320,000 solar years of his age have now passed. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, of the 28 Divya Yuga, Lord Krishna appears on earth with the full paraphernalia of his eternal Vrajadam. Servitude, Dasha. Friendship, Sakya. Parental affection, Vatsalya. And conjugal love, Sringara, are the four transcendental mellows, rasas, by the devotees who cherish these four mellows. Lord Krishna is subdued. Absorbed in such transcendental love, Lord Sri Krishna enjoys in Vraja with his devoted servants, friends, parents, and conjugal lovers. Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks thus: for a long time I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. For a long time I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulated principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees of Rajabhumi. Knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion, made feeble by such reverence, does not attract me. By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and obtain the four kinds of liberation.
Yeah, I remember when I came to ISKCON, and they were doing these regulative devotional practices, and it's like at that point I didn't know what is it. Why I felt like there was this. Why am I not attracted? It's just like it was boring to me. It's like literally. It's like totally. Now I look at that. Yeah, that's how it was when I first came, and they're doing all these things. Get up for the program, and just it's a regulation. It's like regulative, and everybody's there, and we're going through the motions, like going through the motion. It was like I'm not attracted to this. Never was. See why? Because the Lord isn't attracted, and I remember when I first started, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this. The thing that attracted me to Krishna was his name and was his pastimes. What about you? What attracted?
The philosophy.
The philosophy.
Maybe, yeah.
The philosophy, yeah. Well, the philosophy is part of it, yeah. But not the. Yeah, it was like something deeper. See, not just this ceremony thing. It's like, and so that's an indication in the heart, because it's always the Lord in the heart there, and so, and it's like that makes so much sense there. It's like, yeah, and it reflects in the heart of a devotee. Some devotees come into this world and they're not attracted to the rituals and to these. They're attracted to something deeper. You know, and that's this spontaneous love. You know, this spontaneous devotion. It's more attractive, and it's more emotional, more feeling in there. Yeah, and it's transcendental feeling. Otherwise, without this, we go into material emotions and material relationships. So this is really great mercy of the Lord. What is this here? Johan says, and this happened here by the mercy of Acharya Maharaj. The Lord is situated in the innermost core of the heart, and this is possible for, regularly. Yeah, the Lord is in the innermost core of the heart, you see, and so the actual pastimes of the Lord bring that out into our awareness and experience. Otherwise, it's dormant. It's in the innermost core, and you're not aware of it. So something's got to bring it out. So the pastimes are here to do that, but generally you need to hear them from the devotee where the Lord has come out. See, it's been drawn out in the devotee, either from previous practices in another life or this life. And so, like, if that hasn't been drawn out by the books, pastimes, and chanting them yourself, you get the bona fide spiritual master or the Raganuga, the spontaneous devotees association, and it draws that out, where you get an experience of that. Do you experience that more now? Yeah. And it's nice, isn't it? It's attractive. Can you relate to that? Why Krishna's saying that? See? Krishna's saying it doesn't attract me just regulative, because that's the way, unless the Lord is drawn out of the heart into our experience, we don't know that. And that's what's happening with those who are doing regular devotional service. They're not aware of that at this point. They don't even know it's important. See, but that's the whole point of the Krishna consciousness movement. That's the whole point of Lord Chaitanya's descent, is this here. Is to show what is more attractive to the Lord. Because he's in everybody. I mean, it's his game, really. It's his thing. We're here to make him happy. And that's the happiness of the devotee. And this is what does it. There's no greater happiness for the Lord than his own transcendental potency, which his pastimes, his intimate pastimes of Krishna and Radha and the residents of Vrindavan, and now, since Lord Chaitanya and him and his devotees also, this draws out this kind of love. It's very specific and very uncommon, because if the Lord wasn't here, didn't make an appearance here, that would not come out. We would not feel that, because it takes his pastimes with his devotees to bring it out. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that experience. Okay, go ahead.
By performing such regulative devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and obtain the 4 kinds of liberation. These liberations are achieving opulences equal to those of the Lord, Swarupa, having a form the same as the Lord's, Samipya, living as a personal associate of the Lord, and Solakya, living on a Vaikuntha planet. Devotees never accept Sayuja, however, since that is oneness with Brahman. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the 4 mellows of loving devotional service. I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita.
See, and now, again, we have to qualify this and teaches devotional service. Well, what kind of devotional service? What, unless one teaches regulative devotional service? What are they talking about? Unless one practices spontaneous devotional service. In other words, they chant the holy name and relish the ecstasy of that. You cannot teach it to others. They cannot get it. That's why you don't see it here. You don't see it just in the mainstream of Vaishnavism, because you got to practice it yourself. You got to do like Lord Chaitanya. You got to taste these mantras where it draws Krishna out, and the devotee experiences the happiness of pure devotional service. Yeah, otherwise it becomes unknown. People just practice regulative devotional service, and that's why, when you're practicing pure devotional service, like Lord Chaitanya practiced it, the tears start to come, the laughter, the uncommon symptoms of ecstasy, the emotional ecstasy, and it's transcendental. Okay? And then that is what's being taught. Anybody who comes into that association begins to learn about this kind of devotional service, otherwise it's unknown. People don't even know its value. Can you imagine? PhDs and everything, they're teaching, what are they teaching? Some philosophy? Philosophy? Yeah, but where is that kind of devotional service that Lord Chaitanya taught? So that's only where that's why it's been rare, is you only see maybe 1 out of 1 million devotees practicing spontaneous devotional service with the tears and choking and all that stuff. We don't see that. See? But that's why the Lord came here, because he's saying, I'm not attracted to regulative devotional service. It doesn't attract me. It's weak. It's okay, but it's nothing special. It's not extraordinary. I want to come here and give something extraordinary. I come once every 27 Divya Yugas. That's once every 4,320,000,000 solar years. And then I come. So I want to give something extraordinary. And anybody who actually sees it, you start, regularly you start to see this is extraordinary. It's different. It's unusual. It's uncommon. The realizations are different, uncommon. They're not like canned or just parroted or superficial. Okay? But it's amazing, in this Kali Yuga, I see even gurus, they don't even appreciate it. The gurus they can't even see the difference. And their followers can't even see that. Listen to classes, they're so superficial, so speculative, so common, and people still, it's like, go for it. They just like, oh yeah, this is just it. And they can't tell the difference. That's the thing. They can't tell the difference. But those who can are very fortunate. See, that's shown you got the mercy of the Lord. Leads you to the more extraordinary level of worship, which is this spontaneous devotional service. The realizations are deep, and they're condensed, and the essence. And they awaken the heart. They purify. They do everything. Inspire, purify. That's the reason why the Lord came. Yeah. What do we got here? River says, Paramananda was laughing when you was chanting just now. Parminda. Oh, Parminda, she's there. Okay, great. Hey, Parminda, welcome. Karuna says, the ceremonies allow us to partake in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. It's all subjective. Some devotees are really feeling the pastimes, while some can be miles away in the middle of it all. The ceremonies allow us to partake in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. It's not maybe, but I was listening to a Bible verse and when I put it together with the Vedic thing, I totally understood. And it's really interesting. I'm going to share it here. So there's a verse in the Bible that says, the living God does not dwell in stone, in things, in stone, or ceremonies. The living God doesn't dwell in that. See? The living God dwells inside us, inside persons. But a lot of people don't know that. And they're not aware of that. So, and now Krishna says about these, ceremonies and going to the deities and worship and taking baths and all that stuff in the rivers. He said that purifies after a long time. So that's basically the same thing. Because it's the living God that people should be more interested, that's alive and living in the person. Even when Lord Chaitanya was looking, when he went and saw the deity was there. And what is the big deal about the deity really? With how many generations people have been worshiping that deity, these Brahmins and all that, and look at their mentality. It's still materialistic mentality. Talk about slow purification. My God. They're worshiping the deity. They're still like stone. Still, you're still like, what do they call that? Like sectarian. Oh, you're not born a Hindu. You can't come into the temple. Look at the result of their generations of worshiping the deity. Still mundane, mundaners. See? Lord Chaitanya, he looked at the deity. Where was the life? It was in him. Yeah? So that's where we need to get it from the living devotee, where that life is coming out. That's why it's so much more powerful. That's why they purify just by being seen. And you hear from the devotees who speak under the inspiration of that spiritual awakening of God in them. See, they understand the essence of everything, and they speak those vibrations, and that's what wakes people up. What do you think is waking up people here? You guys have been worshiping the deities. Okay? This is the living presence of God dwells inside a person that is awakened. Okay? The ceremony thing, what is it? What do you hear? What kind of ceremonies are we doing here? Okay? With ceremony, vibration, chanting the names of the Lord. These confidential pastimes awakens the Lord, awakens the truth of the Lord not only in the person chanting, but in others who hear faithfully. A vibration. Ask Lalita Ganga. She knows all about this kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you want to partake in the pastimes of Radha Krishna? Sit before a devotee and let them speak to you or chant with them. Forget about, you can do all the ceremonies you want, but look, these guys are partaking in the ceremonies. Well, where is that bhakti, man? Yeah, they can't even talk about that, the essence. Talk about Varnashram Dharma, ceremonies, and all that stuff, man. See? The essence is, hey man, where is the living God? Where is he? That's what I'm interested in. I want the life, man, not this, If you can look at the deities and it awakens ecstasy in you, it's awakening ecstasy in you. Okay, where do you go? You go to the devotee, where the ecstasy is. Okay? Otherwise, that's why people, you wonder, why am I not? Well, you're attracted to the devotee, where the bhakti is. It's more powerful purification. And the bottom line is, look at all those Brahmins worshiping the deities for generations. They're still sectarian, mundane consciousness. Oh, you're not Hindu. You can't come into the thing. What is that? What kind of a transcendental consciousness is that? That's what you got worshiping the deity. Pretty slow purification. You know, where it'll become fruitful is where just when they met Lord Chaitanya, see, and began to learn, oh, his falling into trance was not a bad thing, not something they should beat him for. See? This is what they got. They think they worship the deity for so many generations, and they want to beat the Lord where the living God is manifest. They don't know anything about this. So they need to be taught, and the Lord taught, and we teach also. Yeah? The ceremony is basically, you know, if you want to do the ritual, where it's just hearing and chanting, just like Shukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. You know, the devotees together in sadhu sangha is the best ceremony. You want to do a ceremony. Do that ceremony. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Simply by the causeless mercy of the devotees engaged in licking the honey from his lotus feet, even a fallen soul becomes eternally liberated. See, so by the mercy of a devotee engaged in licking the honey of the lotus feet of the Lord, what is that? Chanting these verses and tasting the nectar. Hey, you become eternally liberated, you know, by being in the presence of such devotees. And look at this, you know, they're still doing this stuff, ceremony stuff. They don't understand that verse. Everything's in that verse. That's why people are getting what they get here. Simply by the causeless mercy of a... See, causeless. I or any other devotee who has gotten this mercy, all that they do is relish this nectar. And if you just happen to be there, you advance spontaneously. You become an eternally liberated soul simply by being favorable and being close and giving respect to a devotee licking the honey of the pastimes of the Lord, and if they're really licking that honey, they're going to be blissed out, they're going to be very ecstatic and very conclusive, uncommonly so, and say stuff like we just said right here. This is pretty uncommon. You see any guru saying anything like this, teaching that kind of depth? This is only known if you can lick the honey of the lotus feet of the Lord in ecstasy. You know, lick these pastimes, man. The vibration where it stimulates ecstasy in you. Okay? And then those who come close, you start to pick it up, and then you're able to do it too. Right? Isn't that the way it's working in the devotees advancing to that stage? Look how much more powerful it is. Look at in the 40 years she's been just, you know, doing the ceremonies and studying the philosophy and having all these gurus and everything. Is it a different experience?
Totally different.
Totally different experience. So this is where it's all going. See? Otherwise, if you just stay in the ceremonies and worship of the deities, and the Lord hasn't awakened in you, yeah, and you don't know that you should. The ideal is to understand that verse. See, this is postgraduate. Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhupada said was postgraduate. See? Well, we're here to show this, teach this postgraduate course, which is not very difficult to understand. It's pretty simple. You know, just go into the presence of devotees who lick the honey of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Now, what does that mean? That means they taste the vibration of the mantras in the pastimes of the Lord or His name, and they go ecstatic. It awakens ecstatic love. See, and if you're in that presence, that's sadhu sangha, real sadhus. If you're amongst devotees and they're claiming to be sadhus and that's sadhu sangha, and they're not chanting these mantras and these names and these pastimes of the Lord, and it doesn't stimulate ecstatic devotion, you're not amongst real sadhus, to put it bluntly. These are real sadhus who do that. That's why Krishna says all these things. They're all tied together, and the verses that people don't understand because they don't know the essence here. Krishna says, I'm not attained by building wells and pious deeds and austerities and renunciations and even sadhana on that level. I am attained very easily in sadhusanga. Very easily, because it's that verse. It's sadhusanga. If you can't lick the honey of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, and to the point of ecstasy, visible ecstasy, then you're not a real sadhu yet. Not really. I mean, you could be sincere, you can be regulative and follow your practices. Okay? But you're not like this. And this is where it's really at. This is for the greedy people. You want to be just a regulative sadhu, where you just, oh, this guy's very regulative, man. And he's he follows the etiquette so nice. He's humble before everybody. He's humble before the gurus, man, who are not even qualified. Look how humble he is before those gurus, man. He is amazingly, the gurus are liars and hypocrites and cheaters. And look how much etiquette he's following. What kind of bullshit is that? I want the truth, man. I want to know who's a fucking liar, man. Who's a cheater. And avoid that and teach my dependents who are coming here to avoid it also so they can get the prize. Krishna. Because, what are you going to get? You want to go into Putana? The false acharyas of false gurus? No. You want the real thing, You want Vrindavan? Well, you got to sacrifice Putana worship, man. You got to call a spade a spade. Like Jesus Christ did. Hey, man, you Pharisees are liars and cheaters and snakes and vipers. My dear disciples, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, man. It's hypocrisy and lies and cheating. Don't associate into me. Don't believe in them. See? Don't believe in Fauci and Bill Gates. Otherwise, you know what your destination is? A fucking slave. See? That's simple. We're not working on that level. But, it's all who you have faith in and believe. Do you believe in the Lord's Maya? They are representing the Lord's Maya, illusion. Do you believe in religion and the religious leaders? Do you believe in them? Do you believe they can deliver you? Well, they can't. Maybe make you a good person because they're regulative and all that. But you know what? They don't call themselves out. They don't call they often cover up for these leaders, pedophiles and all that stuff. Talk about motivated devotional service. You think you're going to get into Vrindavan with that? You think you're going to get spontaneous devotional service? You think you're going to understand stuff that you understand here? You think you're going to understand the value of that verse there in that kind of association? So you see why we have to call it out? Say, hey man, stay out of that association. Give respect to it from a very far distance. Because, it's just not, there's a lot of illusion in that. See, this is the essence of truth. Okay? People, if you just say, oh, yeah, he's criticizing pure devotees. Oh, yeah, well, you believe in your pure devotees, and I'll believe in my pure devotees. Yeah. If believing in your pure devotees doesn't produce ecstatic devotion, then if you can't see you're on the wrong path, or you're not like really like on the direct path, then that's your problem, man. Here we worship the Lord, and it produces this increasing, ever fresh taste. They become newer and newer, these pastimes. We must be doing something right here. I'm not looking for a personal acknowledgement, but why don't they acknowledge what we're doing here? Shows you the illusion that religion is in, that the Hare Krishna movement is in. All of them, all of those sanghas, I don't acknowledge what we're doing here. See? That shows me deep illusion, man. I've already been there, done that. I've been going around, mingling with them, checking out what's going on. I know why they don't. See? Envy, jealousy, and false prestige. They can't get over it until they bend their knee to this kind, what we're doing, that this is empowered by Prabhupada and blessed by Krishna to deliver people, to deliver them, if they want. If not, we'll just happily worship Krishna in ecstasy here, and everybody will advance, and whoever comes will get this benefit because you're following the verse. See the verse there? Simply by the cause, what is it? I'll read the verse here again. Simply by the, simply let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When you find a real associate, okay, simply by giving respect to their worship. And you know how you do that? You come and get darshan. You realize its value. Or you come to see if it's really true and if there's value there. You know, that's honest. See? So simply by giving some respect there. Okay? This is the path in a nutshell. All these verses, generally, the whole path is in a nutshell in these verses. Okay? To the devotees of unto the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, we need to find an associate. And what are the qualities of an associate? We need to give our respect where an associate of the Lord is. An associate means they have association with Lord Chaitanya, but not with just the stone level or the mental level. No, feeling level, transcendental feeling. The Lord's body is transcendental, and the devotee has a relationship. See? They're associated with the transcendental level of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord is ecstatic, they're ecstatic. They share the same heart as Lord Chaitanya as a representative of that heart of the Lord. See? You need to find like that. That's now you found the real door that quickly leads to your freedom from this Maya forever. See? All in the verse. And simply by the causeless mercy, see, you're just being there. You're giving respect there. You're following this verse. Now you're in the line, the real line. Okay? Simply by the mercy just comes causelessly. Not that, well, I did it. You did nothing. You're just receiving the causeless mercy of being in the right place at the right time. And you happen to be here in 2020, the right time, in the right place. You just turned your camera on from UK or Belgium or wherever you are. Simply by the causeless mercy of the devotees engaged in licking. You see, what do you see here? You see some philosophical discourse only? You see some licking of honey, right? Of the pastime. What's that honey, man? Bond, emotional bond with Lord Chaitanya. Ecstatic relish. The things that people very rarely see if they're very lucky. You know how many ISKCON devotees haven't seen anybody relishing the pastimes of the Lord yet? Because if you do, you'll see something really ecstatic, and it'll blow your mind. I've seen how little people have seen this. I'm sitting in a kirtan, man, and I felt a little ecstasy, just a little burp of it, man. And it freaked the devotees out, man. These two little girls, they were like, what's that? Oh, sorry. That was just a little thing. That's how rare when I thought, whoa, man, they haven't seen any of this stuff yet. Maybe some have, but, majority haven't. See, licking the honey of his lotus feet. And what is that? Licking the honey is tasting the nectar of these mantras, man. In the chanting, man, is becoming ecstatic. And the pastimes, the nectar in that, the life of that, the ecstasy, the emotional bond. See, the Lord comes out, man, becomes very happy. You could see, wow, the happiness of the Lord is manifesting in the heart and the emotions, and the body, the tears of a devotee. Man, this is it, man. This is the door to the transcendental world. It's always been and always will be. See? So from the lotus feet, even a fallen soul. See, don't have to be anything. Where's this specialness? Why? You think those sannyasis are going into the kingdom before you? That's what she thought. Oh, I missed the boat. They're all telling me I'm not a Prabhupada. I missed it. I didn't get initiated by Prabhupada, and they're so special. No, she found the real path, man. And anybody else. See? It's not about sitting before, like formally before gurus who haven't realized these things. Okay? You get your eternally liberated simply by being in the right place at the right time, and then you can't glory in your big austerities like these guys are doing. They can't glory in anything like they're just glorying in it, and they're going to find out there's no much glory in it. They got to realize they need the causeless mercy to sit before a person who licks the honey of the Lord. Doesn't matter if they got this is why they don't even know their philosophy. They think, oh, why should I go over where Gaurahari is? Because he doesn't have a dhoti. He doesn't look like a Vaishnava. He's not a formal this. He's not formal like that. See, they don't even understand the Bhagavatam that Maharaj Parikshit heard from a nude guy with no friggin' clothes on. Simply because he could lick the honey of the lotus feet of Krishna. See? And therefore he was very conclusive because of it. He understood the essence of Bhagavatam. See? Now that's intelligence. And Maharaj Parikshit went right into the kingdom of God. See? Just by sitting in the front of a person licking the honey of Krishna's lotus feet. Is this the real path or what?
You have to repent. You have to give up religion. I never understood Krishna and God had that until I gave up the religion part of it.
Mm-hmm. The religion part of it, yeah.
That's the repenting part. Yeah. I felt within myself.
Yeah. Yeah, the religion. You have to see that the essence is that verse. Is to sit with the devotees who have this mercy. And then you get this mercy yourself. That's it. If you don't do that, you don't get this. You got to find a person, a living person that fits the qualities of that verse in the book. That's the map. Where's the territory? Otherwise, you're just reading maps and you don't understand them. You can't get in the territory. You can't line up to where you can't get to where you're going because you don't know where the territory is. Give it to me. You don't know where the territory is. See, so we have the book and we have the territory here. And the territory says, you see, there's the map. You're on the right path, man. You see, it says right there. We'll make it more clear. You don't understand? Well, let's clarify it more. See, the devotees have the realizations of the book because they're experiencing the result of what the book is talking about. That book was written by living devotees who experienced the result of being around associates of the Lord, right? Isn't that a realization? Obviously, right? This devotee can relate to that because he was sitting before associates of the Lord. Krishna Das Kaviraj writes this verse because he's sitting before devotees like that. Raghunath Das, he's hearing from every day. Right? My God, I sit in front of Raghunath Das and Rupa Goswami, who are associates of the Lord, and my God, I'm totally, eternally liberated. Wow, let me write that verse. This works, man. See? And you guys do the same thing. Look at all the ecstasy devotees are getting. You got more ecstasy than 1,000 of those other gurus who are all these thousands of Vaishnava followers. They don't even know what is real nectar. They don't understand the postgraduate course, even after 50 years of following Prabhupada. And they never will until they sit before an associate. They can recognize the person that represents that book verse. See? And all these verses sit before a devotee has realized Krishna and proves it. Proves they're tasting the nectar, relishing the nectar, and have the realizations that back it up, regardless of what they're wearing or not wearing. Why do you think they use that example of Shukadev Goswami having no clothes? Because most people would not listen to him because he's not dressed for success. Isn't that what they do in the world? What is it is not much different in religion. It's just a little step up from the mundane materialists who are dressing for success. You know, they make sure they got their nice suits on, but inside they're bogus and full of bones. You notice that? These governors and politicians, they look so nice and everything, but inside there's diddly squat. They're fucking idiots. Stupid. Can't even, but they're sure dressed nice. And that's what I see. It's not much different in Vaishnavism. All these many gurus dressed really nice and inside, but inside there's nada. Nothing. No much realization. You know, just a lot of kissing ass of each other and being in the good old boys clubs. What is this? Is that, you think that's an associate of the Lord? Yeah. They say, oh, Gaura, you're offensive. What? Offensive for what? Why doesn't Krishna punish me? Why doesn't Krishna punish me for calling that stuff out? I think he must like it. It's like, oh, about time somebody can see. You know, everybody's worshiping Jesus now simply because he told people the truth. Hey, man, these guys aren't qualified. Don't worship them. Stay at a distance. You know? They're acting as representatives of God, but, you know, the devil is still controlling them. Didn't he say stuff like that? See? Oh, but in Vaishnavism, oh, no. They're mostly Pharisee types, man. They couldn't even dream of calling each other out. They like to cover each other's stuff up. See? You got to see that. I don't have any faith in that. That's why it doesn't bother me. It doesn't touch me. If you have a little faith in, and one of the reasons I say these things, because to see if you got any faith in it, you should be checking yourself. Ooh, go high. He said, if you're thinking like that, oh, there you go, man. That's your weakness, man. You got to be like that guy in the Matrix, man. He realized, I don't have any faith in those guys and what they're saying. You know, the guy that's tricking him. See, this is the world. The guy says, hey, man, there's no bullets in your gun. Oh, really? There's no bullets in your gun. I said, whoa. Yeah, so basically that's it, man. It's all what you have faith in. The truth or lies or deception. I don't have any faith in it. And I'm not into, hey, man, we're going to pull people out of this thing. Forget about the etiquette right now. The etiquette's taking people down. The people are using the etiquettes to lie and twist things and all that stuff, just like in the world. They take things and they twist everything and to get the thing. No, hey, man. Let's just go for truth. That's why people still respect Bhaktisiddhanta, you know, because he spoke the truth. And he even made enemies because of it, too. You know, usually devotees don't have any enemies. Because if they just go around, you know, like this and just watch all the bullshit going on. But how are you going to pull people out of it? They got faith in the bullshit. You got to tell them, hey, man, that's bullshit. Don't have any faith in it. Don't worry, it ain't going to bother you. Just to let go. You're going to please Krishna more, getting away from it. Sisi Anjalila, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, that's what you got to do, is you got to give your respectful obeisances to real devotees of Lord Chaitanya, not to those who are non-devotees still. I mean, you can give your superficial, like, hey man, just a little etiquette from a distance, but I don't believe in you. And if you have people that are coming to listen to you, you will have to cut them free of that stuff. Because if you have faith in that, that makes you mundane. It's just like how are you going to show the path? It's like who is it said? It's in the Bhagavatam. Oh yeah, the disciples of Lord Shiva. They said anybody who puts the Brahmins above Lord Shiva, their mentality and their teachings and their understanding above, or their intelligence even, above the intelligence of a real devotee and the understanding of a real devotee, is less intelligence. Even if you put it equal, much less above, and usually they put it above. See? You put less, you're an illusion. You put less intelligence above real intelligence. Real intelligence comes from devotion to Krishna. Okay? To those who worship the Lord with loving ecstasy, that's devotion to Krishna. I give them the understanding, them the real knowledge. Look at the verse very deeply. See? This is why that verse is ever fresh. I keep quoting it. It's always ever fresh and always deeper. Always get it more clear. See, so people are putting the intelligence that doesn't come from pure love of God and devotion to Krishna above what we're doing here. Everything here, this Vedanta comes from bhakti. See? So any title here comes from bhakti and not by dressing for success or getting stamps or sounding like you know something, but you really don't. That's what I see. People, they're acting like they know something, but they really don't, because love of God has not awakened in them, because they don't see the value of what's going on here. They don't see the unestimable value going on here. Okay? They're putting their intelligence, or their followers are putting these guys' intelligence above the intelligence that comes from ecstatic worship. Okay? Therefore, they don't see this path. That's why I'm commenting on it, because I'm introducing into the awareness stream of the bullshit. See, there's no cloak for the sin. That is sinful. That you know why it's sinful? Because you can't get rid of sin. You got to hear from the devotees who are ecstatic devotees, who worship the Lord with loving ecstasy, genuine, pure, empowered. Then you get rid of sin, otherwise you stay in sin. These leaders and teachers, unless they worship the Lord with pure love of God, they cannot eradicate the sins of others or themselves. They just stay Brahman types. And Lord Chaitanya says a Brahman cannot even purify themselves or anybody else. The ecstatic potency. The Lord has to be awake and living inside a living individual. See? Then they are purified by Harikatha and by chanting these mantras. And whoever comes while they're licking the honey of doing that becomes eternally liberated themselves and gets that ability also to lick this honey. What's the difficulty? Maya. Illusion is the difficulty. Believing in it. Not hearing stuff like this. All these people, they can be free so easily, but nobody's ever told them these things. So maybe they'll come across this video, you'll share it or something, and they'll say, you share it with somebody, when you guys also get confidence, like, hey man, this is really important, man. You need to hear this. When you start fucking preaching like that, inside you feel like, hey man, this is important for you, then people think, oh yeah, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't see it was important. You were always like mousy, and then like, oh, see, that's what comes when this starts to manifest inside you, the Lord inside you, you start to say, hey man, this is important for you. And then they'll start to listen. Otherwise, if you backing down all because they won't listen. Joanne says, the ceremonies allow us to partake in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. It's all subjective. Some devotees are really feeling. If they really feel this, then they were here and listened to you. Yeah. Being purified by seeing and being favorable to devotees in ecstasy, you can become eternally liberated. Exactly. See, being purified by seeing, yeah. Seeing and being favorable. I mean, look at, where is the thing that you had to go through a hard course of rules and regulations? You just came and you see a devotee licking the honey of the lotus feet of the Lord. What happens? You becoming eternally liberated. You're an example. Now you're in the line. Now you're practically understanding the verse there by your own experience. See, there's the map, and now you're the territory. Yeah, you can say, yeah, this really works. Look at all those ISKCON devotees. They've been for years. You've been to the temple, right? For years. They don't have that ecstasy that you're getting, simply because they don't see the value of this. Even though their books are all glorifying this, books are all headed for this. The only reason I'm speaking about this, and sometimes a little bit, like making the point, is so that people see, you gotta smack that demon of ignorance and stubbornness. It's a donkey, man. Stupid. Smack it around a little bit. Here, this is why this is all true, these verses. But you don't know they're true until you practice it yourself, even as a disciple. You practice by sitting. That's why I say, get your friggin' popcorn out. I don't care. Have a cup of coffee. But if you just sit in front of a devotee who is licking this honey, you'll see for yourself there's causeless mercy in this bath. Then you can say, yeah, man, that verse is really true. Otherwise, it's a mythology. You're just in this job as a guru and a teacher, more or less, for something else other than teaching real truth, man, being real truth. See, I got to be the person relishing that verse if I'm going to be a real guru and deliver people. Because if I can't taste these verses and I can't, and if it's some fucking bullshit thing I'm doing and lying and cheating, people will not be getting delivered. You will not be getting ecstatic love. Okay? You got to be that verse as guru, and then you got to be that verse as a person getting that mercy and a disciple. And then you become guru also and deliver others also like that. People come and if they see you licking the honey of the Lord and you're teaching this path and you explain to them that there is rhyme and reason of this, it's not just some crazy person laughing and crying like a madman. You got to explain these things, teach these things, okay? And then they'll get it, hopefully. If they don't, they're less intelligent. And they're not ready yet. It's not time for them. Sadhu Sangha, yes. Karuna. The ceremonies allow us. I'm tired of hearing that thing. Don't mention ceremonies. You get me angry. I've seen enough Ceremonies, man. even the Bhagavatam was talking about that. You read this the other day about ceremony. Even Brahma said, ceremonies, I mean, it's okay. It's fine for beginners. How long you want to stay a beginner out there? Come on, we're just trying to speed up the process, man. Krishna wants you into the kingdom as quick as possible. Being purified by seeing and being favorable to devotees. In ecstasy, you can become eternally liberated. Being purified by seeing and being favorable to devotees in ecstasy, you become, it's that simple, right? It's not about liberation, it's about being an eternal associate of Radha and Krishna. Yeah, and that's how you do it. See, you start by being associated with a devotee who's an associate of Radha and Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. If you can, you'll get automatically purified just because what they emanate is uncommon and different and rare. Usually that potency, transcendental potency is suppressed by the Maya, right? It's all suppressed by the modes of nature and all that stuff. And when it becomes expressed, oh man, and you're around that emanation and you're giving some respectful obeisances to it, respect to being there, just by being around that and in your heart just saying, I really liked being around this. That's respect. You don't have to have formal, like this. No, just by being like, hey man, it's time for sadhu sangha. It's time to come, man. I've been waiting for this. That's that Lord Krishna likes that even better. Whoa, you got this natural enthusiasm. Not like, well, it's time for me to be respectful. And I'll come to sadhu sangha in a respectful way. No, enthusiasm. It's like, hey, Gohar, he's going to come and do some crazy stuff. Oh, I can't wait to see the show. Let me get the popcorn out. Whatever else you want. Aman says, listen to this sangha is real sadhu sangha. Haribo. Hey, Aman, thank you. Here the Lord is embracing us. And this, we feel this. This is this ecstasy in us. There you go. There you go. Yeah, there we go. How about you? This morning, I enjoyed licking the honey of the pastimes while reading myself during my video and while seeing other intimate devotees. There you go. Yeah, that's it. You're getting the knack. The ceremonies allow us to partake. Okay, all right. No real devotees will come in here for a drink the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna. Yeah. See, a lot of devotees are still fault finders, They find that... they find fault in this, like they'll see, because you can look in this, and because I'm not mindful of what I say, and I'm not choosing my words. I'm not on a friggin' mental platform. I just let go and let God. And so the Lord throws out a few things here, a few cuss words, and the fault finders go, It's like a fly to shit. Attracts their attention. And then they go blah 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 blah. Yeah. Anyway, that's but that keeps it. There's some good stuff about that because this keeps this area clean of those who don't just love what we're doing and see the essence. See, so it keeps us, without a lot of these interference. It's kind of like locking the door. Locking the door, and then only the ones who really want to be here, who really, love what we're doing, and don't like looking, Yeah. Vamsi Das was a kind of a uncommon devotee like this. He would put fish bones around his tent. He only had 5 people he allowed in there. They just loved him. They loved being around him and the Harikatha and everything. It was so weird. They just, their hearts were there. And so he would put fish bones around the tent. And then these Vaidhi Bhaktas types, the ceremonial types, the ones who are into rituals and all that, they would come because they would think, oh, we'll come and see Bamasidas. But their mentality was not good, and they'd be always looking for faults. And so they'd see the fish bones and go, aha, look at this guy, he's eating fish. And they go around, leave. And Bamasidas said, yeah, very good. Thank you very much. And the same thing, we throw out a few cuss words, it looks like, or Krishna does. And these guys, they go, aha, Gohari, you see, he cusses. He cannot be what he is. Then they go away. All right, good. Not time for you yet. I'd rather be with my friends. Here. I just recited and related to you what Guru just said. This may not be their mood. Doesn't make them any less of a devotee. Yeah. Yeah. See, there's devotion and then there's non-devotion. Or then there's like maybe weak devotion. So if you cannot discriminate, if you think the devotion here is the same as there, that's your problem, man. You don't know what devotion is, Karuna. That's probably the essence, You see, it doesn't make them, it's almost like an envious statement. Maybe that's what it is, a little envy coming out of you, or jealousy. It's something like that. So anyway, maybe that's what's coming out of your heart or something. Maybe that's why you're not so ecstatic. I don't know. So, yeah. So, yeah, so it depends on, everybody. The Lord is dealing with everybody, but there is, there's spontaneous devotion and there's devotional service and practice. If you can't make the discrimination between the lesser and the greater, then what is the point? That's the whole point here. If I don't show the highest reality, then how can I even teach Bhagavatam? The highest truth is reality. The highest reality is spontaneous love of God. That's the goal that Lord Chaitanya came to give. See? Distinguished from illusion. See? So there's still illusion in doing Vaidhi Bhakti. In the practice, there's faults there. There's no faults in spontaneous devotion because it's the Lord's personal potency. It purifies everything. Therefore, it's superior in all respects. Yeah. That's why the Lord came here to teach that, to hold that light up of the truth. That's why people are going to the lesser things, because people don't teach things like this. They don't teach what is the greatest thing. What is the intention of Lord Chaitanya? Why did he come here? Because if you learn that and you understand that clearly, that's where you're going. If you don't, you'll be thinking like that. Oh, it's the same, it's... Some devotees are really feeling the pastimes. Okay, if they're really feeling the pastimes, what's the problem with our preaching? They're on the same platform. They know that spontaneous love of God is the greatest thing. If they don't know that, they're not on the same platform. When you're an eternal associate of Radha and Krishna, you can become eternally liberated. I see. Being purified, seeing, being favorable to devotees in ecstasy. Yeah. Festivities and ceremonies remind me of India and experiences there, including Gaurahari. Once we have had as associate, we are in a better position. Yeah, see, like, this is the thing. If ceremonies remind you of India. That's still not enough. What is this? India is a friggin' country, man. It's a culture. Krishna is eternal, man. That's why I'm a Westerner, man. I never cared for ceremonies. I don't care for the deities per se. I just don't do that. I chant the mantras. That's my deity. I chant the Bhagavatam. I chant these verses. I listen to the sound vibration. Okay? So that's not, it proves it's not cultural. I mean, people, and Prabhupada, he taught cultural, he wanted to get things going, man. You know, people believe in culture, you know. And Krishna is, you have to be with the tilak and a dhoti, otherwise you're not worshiping Krishna, or you got to even be a vegetarian, and you got to follow the rules and the regulations to worship Krishna. Well, that's one way, and a certain level of it. But the truth is, hey man, Krishna's looking for your heart. The fastest way to get your heart attracted to Krishna, sadhu sangha, is to understand that verse we've just been discussing for the last half an hour or hour. You know, to those you can become, to those I offer my respectful obeisances to the devotees, who simply by the causeless mercy of a devotee, licking the honey of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, one can become eternally liberated. Yeah, that's it. You don't do that, you're not going to become eternally liberated. That's the essence. If you really, from your heart, you get all that envy and jealousy and all that stuff out of your heart, and you give respectful obeisances like that without trying to be competitive and show how great of an intelligent guy you are. You know, how magnificent you are. You just, from your heart, give respectful obeisances to the truth, you know, that they're speaking. Am I speaking the truth of that verse? Yes or no? Okay? It's not about trying to, you know, like, well, what about these devotees? What about their Hey, what about that verse, man? That's better than 1,000,000 ceremonies. That gets people in the kingdom of God quick. Your ceremonies, look at it. They've been doing ceremonies for Lord Jagannath for generations, and they still sectarian thinking, you're not Hindu, you don't get into the temple. What kind of bullshit is that, man? You go that route. I'll go this route. I'll be praising these verses, man, and this association, and continue to get people who give respectful obeisances to this preaching of this verse, and I'll continue to beat those ceremonies down to where they belong. And that's the thing that's causing that shit to come out of you there, Karuna. You know, all that envies and jealousies and competitions and trying to defend the lesser. See? You know, see, until you can see the essence of this preaching. Maybe that's what I need to squeeze that out. I don't know, you know. Help me get more into the verses. Thank you very much. Well, I'm just like, you know, I like Jesus preaching. I really feel an affinity for that, man. You know, watch out for those guys with the ceremonies, man. Prancing around the stage, man, doing big ceremony. Watch out for them, man. Full of envy, jealousies, and that's what I've seen in ceremonies. I'm dealing gurus and teachers are all into the ceremonies and full of envies and jealousies and everything. But that gets all purified here just by you know, like relishing these verses in ecstasy and this kind of preaching and holding these things up as the highest truth and not the ceremonial worship. That's the whole friggin' problem here. People aren't holding up this light, man, and saying, hey, this is more powerful than the ceremonies. Look at those guys. They're still keeping you out of the temple of Jagannath for generations. How quick is that? You want to go the slow path? Go that way, man. We're going the fast track. Man, we're around a devotee who's an associate of the Lord, man, licking the honey, man. Come in the door, my friends. Why are you beating around the bush? So, problem is now we cannot go naked on Facebook. Go naked on Facebook. You know how you go naked on Facebook? You go in the naked truth, man. Just preach the truth, with transparency, without a bunch of clothing on it. This is why Krishna took the clothing off of the gopis, who they wanted to be. They were doing austerities. This is what we're doing here. Is basically, they don't know this, but basically we're taking the clothing off of these gopis who want Krishna, and they're performing their austerities out there in ISKCON and Gaudiya Samiti and Gaudiya Math and all of them. We're taking their clothing off so that they can see the real Krishna. See, they're eating unspiced khichdi. That's their food, right? It doesn't have the taste of ecstatic love when they chant the mantras. See, they're eating unspiced khichdi. They're still trying to attain the result of their austerities. And so we're over here taking their clothing off. Amen, the ceremonial thing. Amen, all of that stuff is clothing, man. Let's get into the essence of Krishna. We making Krishna expose. Krishna's exposing himself. The truth is Krishna, man. His ecstasy is Krishna. See, we're exposing Krishna, which exposes their clothing, and that's how it's taken off. So that you can see you can be intimate with Krishna, you can be married to Krishna instead of eating unspiced khichdi by chanting the mantras without ecstatic devotion awakened. And no salt on your food, man. No spices, no mellows. Therefore, that's why they're not so mellow. Yes, it begins in the heart, the spirit by yourself. Karuna. Problem is, now we cannot go naked on Facebook. Oops. You almost took a Krishna Das did a few days ago. It's a ceremony to come. It's a ceremony to come and listen to you. Maybe for you. Is it a ceremony for you?
No.
No. So Karuna
it's not
said,
a ritual. It's not a ceremony.
Yeah. Maybe for Karuna, it's for you a ceremony right now. We have different relationship with the Lord, and those who are attracted here are those who aren't here are not attracted because it's not there. I heard that. See, I never like that. When I hear that from those Gaudiya Samiti persons preaching like that, it's just a different mood, and you don't understand. They don't understand. You don't understand either. See, they have that thing, competitive. They think they know all about what Krishna is and all that, and that is not like that. Different mood. No, it's that's the thing. When you have a transcendental mood with Krishna, it's transcendental, and they think they haven't even achieved the transcendental platform yet, and then they speak like that. That's what's full of speculations. Just a different mood, and I've seen so many have envy, jealousy, and all that. Oh, well, you just have a different mood, and it's just full of reeking with envies and jealousies and all of that stuff. You want to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Be careful of that and that kind of preaching over there. It's just the different moods and all. No, well, there's four main rasas, my friend, and they're all transcendental. There's not material. Okay. Yeah, you can have a different mood. It could be, material too, and that's the thing, and that's the problem. A lot of them they've not transcended the false ego yet, because you only do that by the awakening of pure love of God. Otherwise, there's this stuff in there. See, they're at the false ego layer there, which you preaching like that, you're attuned to that vibration, obviously. See, so that's why your consciousness is like that. But I've had people leave here, in that consciousness. And that's just destiny. You want to break through, just keep hanging out because you'll break through it. Yeah, I've seen this a lot, in the when I was in those other sanghas. It's usually a way to diminish what we're doing. Okay. Problem is, we cannot go naked. Okay. See, who is saying there is something wrong with your preaching? Who is saying there's something wrong with your preaching? Well, I don't know. So many people have. There's a good point about sectarians and Brahmins, yeah. Some devotees really love to serve the deity, brings tears to their eyes. That's great, yeah. See, but then, you see, the deity is bringing tears to their eyes. It's inside them. That's what's really important. Is bringing, it's a way of worship. If you can do that, and you're worshiping the deity, and ecstasy is awakening, that's great. Wonderful. We're doing the same thing with the mantra. In that sense, it's the same. Okay? But if you're a lot of people, it's that's why deity worship is also known for the beginners. They need, it helps them make some advancement. But the most powerful advancement is this. I mean, the verses are glorifying this. Why don't they glorify the worship of the deities as the greatest thing? Why are they glorifying sadhu sangha? There are people that they have a few tears and everything, but here you can get this really high ecstatic devotion, great mercy of Lord Chaitanya. That's another thing. A lot of people they say, well, it's the same. What we're doing here is the same because this devotee has a few tears. A lot of times that's all they got is a few tears. Nothing, there's not, this devotion that Lord Chaitanya is come to bring is very, very excessive. Very profound. Not just a few tears here and there, once in a while. Except a few called swamis who are religious. Yes, man. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Krishna. Any more verses? Nice verses in there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something here. Let's see, okay. Oh, no internet here in this. Oh, okay. Use this. We have different relationships with the Lord. Those who are attracted here are those who aren't here, are not attracted because it's not their mood. They are still worshiping Krishna, but not in Vrindavan mood. They are still devotees. Well, yeah, it depends. I mean, what kind of devotee? Are you devotee in devotional service and practice? If you, depends, there's it depends, could be gradation. Do you have some devotion? or did you have any devotion before, or was it, what did you have before? So let's get some experience. What would you?
I don't know. It's all that keeps going through my head is, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like going into a Mexican, you really want pasta, but you go into a Mexican restaurant and demand pasta.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti.
Mm-hmm.
You want Italian in it. You get what is on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
You get what they're giving.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't want ritualistic. I don't want any of that stuff again. I don't want anything that I have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The main thing is like Kapila. Kapila teaches in the Bhagavatam. There's devotional service in the mode of ignorance. There's devotional service in the mode of passion. There's devotional service in the mode of goodness. And then there's Shuddha Bhakti, devotional service in the mode of pure goodness. See, that's transcendental. So where is that devotional service lying? So, you can do it in the modes of nature, and maybe that's your level, or you can be performing devotional service Shuddha Bhakti. So those persons where you're saying they're different modes, okay, yeah, but have you distinguished what platform of devotional service they're doing? Is it transcendental? Is it Shuddha Bhakti? Is it some level of Shuddha Bhakti? Is it devotional service in the mood of opulence and affection, like in Dwarka or Mathura? Or is it in Vrindavan mood, devoid of the opulences of Krishna and more into these sweet opulences, the sweetness? Can you distinguish like that? So it depends, if they're in their relationship with Krishna in the modes of nature, okay, well, that's fine. It's not very attractive. But, it would be good for them is if they can understand this preaching, and then they can go from devotional service in the mode of ignorance to Shuddha Bhakti very fast, without a lot of troubles, just by this association, following according to that verse. Does that verse say you have to have any special qualification other than giving respectful obeisances to where this kind of devotional service is, where there's a real associate of the Lord is? Okay? That's the door. That's what the point of Jesus' preaching, the point of Lord Chaitanya's preaching, and his associates' preaching, and our preaching now. You come here and give respectful obeisances to this kind of level of worship or platform of worship, and these discussions and like this, and then without a lot of trouble, you'll enter Vrindavan mood in one of the four rasas. See? Yeah. Okay, what's this? It is hot out there, about 36 degrees. Hot out where? Oh, probably in Turkey. Yeah. All right, let's see what I was going to do here. Oops. What happened there? Oh yeah, search. So let's do a little search and we'll just come across verses here. So let's look up the word devotion. Actually, we'll look at the word prema. These are good words. And we'll see what we come up with. So Srimad Bhagavatam 797. So we see how Prahlad Maharaj immediately attained the state of prema. Here it is said, prema gadaya vacha. Prema, that prema is not this prema, the lusty desire that is not prema. Prema, one has to learn, one has to go through the disciplic discipline to attain the stage of prema. See, so anyway, Prahlad Maharaj was teaching that. That was like before Lord Chaitanya. A lot of discipline. Even the demigod said, we can't follow the path of Prahlad Maharaj. He was very strict. Because that's the way it was, very hard, but basically we can follow, but this is really true. One has to learn, has to go through the discipline to attain the stage of prema. So the Lord has made it very easy now. Come and give respectful obeisances to the devotees who are licking those devoted to, even a fallen soul can become eternally liberated from the causeless mercy of a devotee licking the honey of the lotus feet of the Lord. So come to Sadhu Sangha. It's a great discipline, isn't it? It's a fun one after a while. Look how many hours. We've probably been here a couple hours. Let's see. Almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. Isn't it a nice thing? This is a sacrifice. If we sacrificed our time to be here, was it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always is.
It's always worth it, yeah. See, so because it's joyfully performed. It's a joyful thing. See, so the prema is given very easily in Sadhu Sangha now. And it's authorized. The Lord has, authorized it, and the disciplic line too. It's wonderful. So that's the discipline, just discipline of coming, turning your camera on and enjoying the show, participating. Freddie says chanting the holy name doesn't depend on initiation, ceremonies, rituals, or anything. Bhakti only depends on bhakti coming directly from the Lord and his pure associates. Yeah, it doesn't depend on initiation, ceremonies, or anything. Yeah. The reason why the Lord went to the ceremonies was because it was given as association, attracting people, because they're into ceremonies, So he goes where he gives his association that way. It wasn't the ceremonies per se. That's where people are. He wanted to liberate people by his association. It's just by the association of a devotee, by their emanation, by their word, man, by what they say. It's a vibration thing. You got to be around that vibration. You can see when you go on Facebook, you listen to the vibration. All these people doing the political thing now. The vibration is different. Mm-hmm. She doesn't even want to look at it.
Lies, lies, and lies.
Yeah, lies. Yeah, you listen to
No, they don't do anything they tell you.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
Check it.
Yeah. So Prahlad Maharaj, he first of all followed the instruction of Brahma, then immediately got the favor of Lord Nrsimha, and after getting that, he got the prema stage. See, and that's what basically that happens here. You gotta see the verse. You cannot attain the Lord by just or following the law. You cannot attain the Lord that way. At least not very easily. It's very hard. Attachment to the Lord. That's attaining the Lord. You got to be emotionally attached, and it's transcendental. That's prema. Okay? So it's not by the study. It's not by the study of the Vedas that one can come to the proper conclusion. Okay? So that conclusion is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized soul that has the experience of Krishna. See? So now here's the clincher. Now one should follow the progressive path of those devotees. See? Because the Lord shows them what is the quickest way for other people at that particular time and circumstance. See, to attain Him, the quickest way. See, and so that way is already being ascertained in Chaitanya Charitamrita Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with his devotees. See? Because then Krishna will come to you and you will get that boon of prema. People are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord through his representatives. So those persons out there, it's not a question necessarily, well, they have a different mood. Oh, well, if that's fine. But do you want to worship the Lord with prema, with love of God, devotion to Krishna, ecstatic love intensely? Well, you're engaged in that by the empowered representative of that platform of devotional service. That's here. Otherwise, you stay pretty much squeak a tear here and there, or something not so intense, not so deep. All right. Prema is a great topic. So I'm just doing a search on this Vedabase, which we have to do. I mean, don't get tweaked about. This is another whole thing, man. The Lord shows and shows things that are, if I have any problems, they're worked out. But it's a great way. I don't know if I could search on Prabhupada's thing with like this. I think this is. Karuna says, of course, but not to throw the ceremonies of seeing them as a waste of time confuses me. I didn't say it was a waste of time. It's slow. You understand the difference? Isn't it slower? It's slower. We all know that. That's why I used the example. How long do you want this? You want to follow the footsteps of that verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, or you want the slow way? Go worship the deity only and stay around people that are like that, in awe and reverence and distant with the Lord. If you want to go fast, be close to a close associate of the Lord, who's closely associating. They're so close with Lord Krishna, that because Lord Krishna is full of raging ecstasy, they become full of raging ecstasy, and the Lord is really clear and conclusive and logical. They also become like that. So be close to those devotees. Otherwise, it's a longer way. See? So those persons in generations have been worshiping Jagannath. See? And they still had that mentality. And Lord Chaitanya came and helped them get through that. Yeah. So. Morning walk, Prabhupada says, that is prema. When one wants to satisfy Krishna's senses, that is prema. See? So, now, let's make that a little bit more clear. When one wants to satisfy Krishna, that's prema, yeah. And when one does satisfy Krishna's senses, that is really prema. Both of them, actually. Because the devotee gets hooked on that. When you worship the Lord with the awakening prema by following that footsteps of that verse, getting the causeless mercy of such devotees, okay? So that prema manifests in the heart of a devotee, see? And then it causes them to really want that prema, and that's also considered prema, that hankering for it. Always, it's like the verse in the songbook. The pure devotees are always, the spiritual master is always hankering to taste the nectar of these pastimes. Okay? See, the desire for it because they've got it. they've had experience of that prema, and it drives you like mad for it. Okay. Now, many devotees don't even know what that is. First of all, they don't associate with those prema bhaktas yet. They're, because if you're not associated with the prema bhakta, practicing the path of prema bhakti, by engaging in ecstatic chanting of the verses, you don't know what it is. See? So you don't even know to want it. You don't even know what to desire. You think I just need to desire varnashram dharma or regulative devotional service or ceremonies. Okay. So again, you see, it always pulls us back to the verse. You want prema? Well, prema is born of prema. Devotion is born of devotion. Vishwanath Chakravarti taught that. If you don't have pure devotion, then you cannot birth it in others. This is the secret of success here, because pure devotion is known to be here because it's being born in others. Otherwise, if you don't see it work out there, you don't see any result of this kind of preaching resulting in prema awakening, then it's not real place. It's some kind of illusion going on here. Dukkha. Karuna, it can be compared to how being in the temple is. Yeah. Yeah, again, the verse is not glorifying ceremonies, it's glorifying the association devotees. That's why I'm doing that. See, that's why, this kind of preaching, this is prema preaching. It's the essence of truth, man. You got to be distinguished from everything else. Otherwise, people think everything else is the same. Kind of what you're saying. It's also, therefore nobody comes here because it's the same, or maybe that's even better or something. No, we got to say, no, the verse is supreme. Inclusion is supreme. The devotee, its association, is the supreme association. It's like Ramananda Roy. I love glorifying the truth, these kinds of verses, and distinguish them out from ceremonial worship. Because the people doing ceremonial worship are not following in the footsteps of that verse. If they did, they'd be around those rare devotees following in the footsteps of the verse, including those who are coming to follow in the footsteps. See? Even as a disciple or as a well-wisher or as a listener, you follow in the footsteps, and then you're there in the right place at the right time, right circumstance. And what are you going to get? The right result, which is eternal. You'll be eternally liberated very quickly. This is why Ramananda Roy said, if pure devotional service is one should. Now listen, what if there's a prema devotee sitting at the temple like Lord Chaitanya? Because again, it's wherever the devotee is. You go there, be with that devotee, whether he's sitting there doing a Harikatha or at the temple, gorgeously worshiping the deity like Lord Chaitanya. See? And the way you'll know is if you're in the right place, you'll start to get causelessly liberated. You'll feel it. You'll feel relieved of, of difficulties in you and all that. But generally, it's not always the case. It's a little unnecessary to bless them. And for those who relish these ceremonies, feels a little... Well, I feel it's necessary to blast you a little bit. That's what I'm feeling. Blast this mentality. Because I'm not, I'm distinguishing. Didn't I say it's a slower path? And you consider that blasting. Again, you want to put your preaching on an equal like this, and there's no way you can do it. Your preaching is diddly squat. It don't make sense to me. I'm saying that's lesser, and you're not even seeing what I said. Must be so into what your thinking is or something. I'm not, blasting them. You consider blasting them? You want to put those on an equal level as this? Will you show me those persons worshiping the ceremonies like we are? You show me then. Don't give it a little theoretical thing. I've been to plenty of those ceremonies. I think you have. Many of us have been. Ask Lalita Ganga how many ceremonies she's been in. You want to put them on an equal level as this? Well, bullshit, man. I'm sorry, man. It's not in my experience, and the experience of a lot of devotees here. It makes me wonder why you see like that. Maybe stuff is coming out of your heart. Good. And for those who relish these ceremonies is a little unnecessary relish. I don't care. Well, how are they relishing? If they're relishing them like Lord Chaitanya is relishing them, then it's wonderful. But generally, that's not. Mostly neophytes are doing the ceremonial worship. As I said, Lord Chaitanya, he went there to give mercy to those ceremonial worshippers. That was the extent of his. That's why he followed the rules and regulations to give mercy to fault finders and those who are critics. And those who relish these ceremonies. Well, okay, it was the same thing. You say relish them, and relish these ceremonies. Again, I'm putting it on the level that it is. It takes a long time to attain Krishna by ceremonial worship. Even Krishna himself says, devotees are purified just by being seen, much less heard from. Ecstatic devotees who are associates of the Lord. See, my deity worship. See, where the ceremonies. Yeah, you go to the deity ceremonies. My going to ceremonies at the Ganga and doing the thing with this and all of that purifies after a long time. What's so fucking hard to understand about that, Karuna? A long time. See? Devotees purify by being seen, the ecstatic devotees. And then again, I said, if you find devotees who are going to the ceremonies to give mercy to the neophytes who believe so much in ceremonies, and not sitting down like Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami and Sukadev Goswami and listening to an associate of the Lord, I'm glorifying that truth, man. So many different levels. Some taste higher, some taste lower. Many different lokas. Not all need to be here. Yeah, not all need to be here, but those who want to go into the kingdom of Vrindavan need to be here, because if you're not getting it doing ceremonies, then you need to be here if that's what you want. A lot of people don't know they need to be here. That's the problem. There's no place for them. Nobody's preaching this. Nobody's showing them there's a place for them to go where they can attain Vrindavan now. Because wherever you are, if you're not with an associate of Radha and Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, you ain't going there. You're not going there, my friend. I don't care what all these different lokas and all that, but this message is for those who want to go to Vrindavan. That's our mission here. I think a lot of devotees, don't they think they're worshiping Krishna, they're worshiping Radha. Where are they? Maybe they don't know they need to go there. Well, at least we got to put the message out. Maybe they'll sometimes understand the value of being with a devotee who is here and empowered to deliver them. How many devotees you think there are out there to do that? You think it's just anybody and just they're going to different? How many people have the order of Prabhupada to give ecstatic devotion? How many people have the blessing of Krishna that they will get darshan? How many? Oh, they're just all over the place. I've heard that preaching in Gaudiya Samiti. Oh, there's so many pure devotees. Gaudiya Math too. And ISKCON. So many pure devotees all over the place. That's baloney. It's very rare what's going on here. Proven all the time what's going on here. You're contaminated with that preaching from those guys. That's what I'm seeing. Get it out, man. We'll cut it out. It's contamination. I heard that stuff. Well, it's just, it's it. I want to put it all on the same level. Different lokas and all that stuff. This is very special, my friend. Very special. Very rare. How many times does Lord Chaitanya come to this planet? How many times does an associate come to this planet who has an actual real relationship with Krishna? Even after the Lord disappears, it's still rare. Somebody who actually knows Krishna of Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya very intimately is rare. You guys out there and all your sanghas out there can go say there's so many pure devotees like that. I have not seen. I've lived in India for so many years and they're all talkers. All saying, so many pure devotees. They don't know what an associate of Lord Chaitanya is here. They can't even appreciate this preaching. Therefore, I know they aren't associates. And they're always trying to compare it's on the same level or much better. Okay? I don't care. I'm convinced. I've spied my way. I looked at all those places there that so-called have the same level of consciousness and intimacy. I didn't see it yet. See, and Krishna knows in your heart too, these things. Kruna Sindhu, you've read the pastimes Sri Jagannath. There is so much pastimes and devotee on the platform of spontaneous love. And the devotees on rules and regulations don't understand the mood of spontaneous devotees. So for helping his devotees, it came in a dream of King Pujaris. Yeah, a lot of people can't understand this preaching. They think it's offensive and all that. The bottom line, I'm just fixed on glorifying the highest truth. That's all. And everything else is different. This is what I do. It's what do you call it? Yeah, it's diminishable. It's Brihad Bhagavatamrita was about that, to show what are the highest devotion, the greatest devotion. Yeah, of course, whatever you got is what you got. But, people, if you got a light, what we got is Vrindavan light, man. We got Lord Chaitanya's light. You don't put a shade over it. Why not put it up there and show this is where it's going, man? Get Sadhu Sangha, come and experience the glories of that verse there, man. Become eternally liberated. So like this, man, being around the devotees. The real associates. Nothing like this is amazing. Rare approval order. Yeah. Johan says, Prabhupada told his devotees, sorry, you are not worshipping Radha and Krishna. No, you are not ready. You are worshipping Lakshmi Narayan. Yeah, and a lot of people are not even doing that, or they're worshipping Vishnu in the mode of goodness. It's all your mood. If you're worshiping Lakshmi Narayan, you're going to have some ecstasy. That's a pretty high level of Lakshmi Narayan. Lakshmi, if you're worshiping in that bhav, it's transcendental, but most people aren't. They're worshiping Vishnu still in that mood. What is your energy? See, in the mode of goodness, right? See, devotional service in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. So what is your level of consciousness, man? Is it in the mode of goodness? You're devoted to rituals and rules and regulations? See? If you're really worshiping Lakshmi Narayan, see, you're going to be ecstatic because they're ecstatic devotee, right? Bottom line, if you're looking at Lakshmi Narayan and you're feeling the ecstasy of Bhav with transcendental affection mixed with opulence, as you know that Narayan is God, there you go. That's the worship of Lakshmi Narayan. That's why the worship of Radha and Krishna is like that, transcendental, but with diminished the opulence and very deep into the sweetness and intimacy. And they don't want to know the opulence as much, if at all. But if you're in the mode of goodness and you're doing rituals, varnashram dharma, and that's your mode and your conscious, you don't feel this transcendental affection, even on the level of Lakshmi Narayan, you're not really doing the worship. Okay? So what's your alternative? That verse, or go the slow way and just sit there and do your rituals and you won't be conclusive for a long time. Okay? Here you get, look how conclusive it is. Puts you right into the goal, right into the zone, man, right into the field gold. You become eternally liberated by being around a real associate of Lord Chaitanya, licking the honey of his lotus feet. Okay? You want a field gold? There you go. You want to run around all the field there, this way and that way and all that? Well, go ahead, follow these other people. They're pure devotees all over the place. Go follow that path. They all just have different Yeah, go follow that path. Go follow Karuna Sindhu, and he's, following all of that stuff there. Hey, myself, I'm going to preach this. The glories of that verse, because I know somebody out there wants the real light. They want to go into the door. They don't want to go beat around the bush and go around all that or glorify this other preaching that these other guys are doing. See? When you really get it, man, you'll support this preaching. When you know that mind like this, you'll see why we're doing this. So it's good. You help distinguish it out by your comments. We'll just make it more clear. Karuna, yes, we are knowing this is very special. But, what is this but? I don't like the sound of that. We know this is very special, but. But, I bet if you had more disciples and a big building with us all in it, we would be having ceremonies and we would have deities and worship. I don't think so.
Thank you.
No, thank you. No. You won't see me, with all that original. Forget it. No, you can go. That. Yeah, we it's already out there. You want that stuff with the big buildings and the big deity? Just go over there. Go to ISKCON's there. Gaudiya there. They got all that. That's fine. Yeah, we're more like Haridas Thakur, man. Just sit around. Very informally, a nice empty building without all that stuff you have to deal with. And it takes time and energy. You got to address those guys, and you got to go and timings and all that stuff. And then everybody becomes very on. We don't. Yeah. Karuna says, Jesus Christ. I can see why people are afraid to ask questions. Go follow Karuna Sindhu. I can ask. Yeah, I did. I said that. This is, yeah. Yeah, you can ask questions. Fine. You got to be ready for the answers, too. Yeah. That's why I said it's good. This helps distinguish things out. Yeah, so you put your ideas and I put out my ideas, and everybody, we can all learn from that, I think it's an important thing to understand the difference between ceremonial worship and this kind of worship. Yeah. Because, if you really get this in your heart, if you're awakened to this taste, then I don't know, whatever you want to worship the deity, you can. You like that. A lot of, if that's in you, then you get your ecstasy by doing that. I get my ecstasy worshiping the deity in the form of the mantra and the Bhagavatam. Some people may get their ecstasy, with the incense and worshiping the deity in the form of the deity, the stone out there. Yeah, but to make me feel that I'm trying to lead people astray. No, you're not leading people astray. Sorry about the misunderstanding. It is unnecessary. I'm just kind of joking around with you. You misunderstand me. It's informal relations here. Certainly. Karunacinda, I am reminded of the great value of Maharaj preaching when I come across typical temple devotees and their energy is offensive. I'm reminded of great Maharaj preaching when I come across temple devotees and their energy is offensive. Yeah, well, Anyway, it's good. I'm glad you brought, you got to be real. You got to be yourself, man, whatever that is, Just like me, I got to be myself, and from the interaction, something good will come, transcendental. So I think maybe we'll stop here, probably. So we'll get a little bit, walk around a little bit. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Karuna, for, putting out your questions and comments, and everybody else. And we'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.